Hello everyone, this is Dr. Shawn Pourgol. I'm an osteopath, and today I want to speak with you about why you should not always listen to your real estate agent. In previous video I made another day, I spoke about why you shouldn't listen to your accountant all the time, because they try to usually recommend to manual osteopaths and health practitioners to register their business as sole proprietorship, while that's a big no, that's a big mistake, and you should register it as a business corporation. No wealthy individual registers his or her business as a sole proprietorship, and I explained why. In this video, I give you a couple of things that usually real estate agents recommend to manual osteopaths and other health practitioners, which even though it's solid and good, but it's not street smart, it's not wise to do so. Number one is that usually real estate agents recommend to manual osteopaths to purchase the building they practice manual osteopathy in. That makes sense, right? It's good. You purchase the building after 10-20 years of working, you pay it off, and you have a building that is worth $1 million or more. In theory, that sounds good, and it's a solid, wise advice, but it's not so street smart. As I always tell to my students, you have to protect your assets. You work hard to make the money, and you have to protect it. That's what makes my students different from other manual osteopaths, and that is why they make more money. In Canada, usually manual osteopaths make $90,000. My students make over $150,000 per year, because I teach them everything I know about business. They listen to 200 business lectures I give them. We are the only school who do that, because we want to graduate successful manual osteopaths. It is my goal in life to ensure every town with a population of 100,000 people has at least one manual osteopath working there. And to do so, I have to attract people to manual osteopathy profession, and by making my graduates wealthy and rich and successful, others get attracted to a manual osteopathy, and my goal maybe in my lifetime becomes a reality. And that's why we teach them things that are practical, applied. They can use it in practice. It's not theoretical. In theory, they say it's good for you to own the building that you practice in, but in reality, you have to change it and modify it a little bit to suit you. What happens if you own the business that you have practice in? It sounds good, but what if something goes wrong in that? What if your business owns money? What if something happens, you get sued, and you're found guilty of a negligence or anything? What happens? So many scenarios. The thing that happens, they go grab the building first. They put a lien on it. It costs $50 to a lawyer, and that's it. Once a lien is there, that's it. Your building is as good as it's gone. They will sell it. They can sell it in some cases and recover it. Sometimes they allow you practice, but you can never sell it, and the interest accumulates. So by the end, your building is worth nothing, because 20 years later, the interest of that, what you owe them, becomes more than the price of the building. It's a big loss for you. Do not buy the building in your name. That's a big mistake. Please do not do so. You will be sorry about that. It's a good advice to buy your building, but you have to modify it. That's where our education is so different. We provide unique and innovative things that others do not. What you can do, if you have an osteopathic clinic, for example, ABC Osteopathic Clinic, that neither you John Smith, neither the ABC Osteopathy Clinic should not purchase the building. What you do, you open a new business corporation called XYZ Investment Company, XYZ Real Estate Company, XYZ Holding Company, whatever you want to name it. That company buys the business, buys the building in its name, not your name. You can be the owner of that building. You can be the owner of that company. You can be the director of that company. That is fine. But the business corporation under the law is a legal entity. It is separate from its director. So you will buy the building under XYZ Holding Company. That company rents the building to your clinic, to ABC Osteopathy Clinic. ABC Osteopathy Clinic gives rent every month to XYZ Real Estate Company or XYZ Holding Company, whatever you will name it. And then if God forbid something bad happens to ABC Osteopathy Clinic or something bad happens to you personally, nobody can go after the building because the building is not involved in the day-to-day operation of the business. The building is a separate legal entity. And your money is protected, your asset is protected. Asset protection is a big part of what I teach to my students. These are the reasons why we have so many even manual osteopaths from other schools come and study with us to learn from my business lessons. Nobody teaches these kind of things. These are street smart things you can apply to become wealthy, to become rich, to become successful. These are very unique. We are the only school in the world who teach that. Other schools, they are run by practitioners, by clinicians who do not teach business tips to students because they do not want competition. They don't want these students come out, open a practice next to them and become their competition. We don't think of our students like that. We love them like our family. I am a multimillionaire from before osteopathy, before I became a teacher. I don't take even $1 from osteopathy. Actually, my school in Canada, National Academy of Osteopathy, I have 3 schools. One in Naples, where I am right now, Naples, Florida. National University of Medical Sciences is the first and only manual osteopathy university in the United States. I have another university in Madrid, Spain. I have another university in Panama, Spanish language, which is not yet operational. And then National Academy of Osteopathy, which is a non-profit school, the only non-profit osteopathy school in Canada, meaning by law I'm not allowed even take $1 profit from the school. I don't need the money from osteopathy. I did not start the osteopathy business to make money, and I do not look for receiving any money. I have enough money from other sources before I became a manual osteopath. I was a chiropractor. I was the busiest in Canada. I was treating 150 patients a day. At one time, I had 58 clinics. I have enough money. All I did through the business. I was homeless when I came to Canada 34 years ago as a refugee. I slept in shelters, and my first job was washing dishes in a restaurant as a dishwasher. And now, you know, my friend Honorable Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, invites me for breakfast, emails me regularly. So I'm grateful to God. Thank you, God. I love you. I love you for giving me all this beauty, this abundance. God has given you all this abundance. You just have to know how to go and get your share. It is beautiful. Every corner you feel how God loves you. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed, and God has provided all these things. You just have to go and get it. And that's what my students do. That's why they're successful. I provide them the knowledge, but they do the activity, and they they get it. It's a beautiful, beautiful system. You have to protect your money. Making money is one thing, but the rich, the wealthy also work hard always to protect their money. A fool and his money are soon parted, they say. You have to protect your money. This is what separates our students. We teach them how to protect their money, because it's not just enough to make money. You have to be able to protect them. So by all means, buy a building if you wish, but do not buy it in your own name. That is a big no-no. Never ever do business in your name, or buy a building in your name. That's why in other video I said registering a business as a sole proprietorship when you practice under your own name is a big no-no. Yes, you save $420 in registration fee, but that's a poor mentality. No rich has ever done that. You have to register as a business corporation. Even though your lawyer might recommend to you to register as a sole proprietorship, do not do it. Owning a business corporation is one of the best asset protection you can do. In one business, I did a clinic. I rented a big business, and for 10 years the lease was worth $1 million. After a year I had to close the business. Didn't work out well, and the landlord wanted to sue me, but because the clinic was the lease was in my business corporation name, I told the landlord, you can sue it, but you waste $20,000 on lawyers fee, and the bank account is closed, this clinic is closed, there's no money in it, you can't take any even $1. And he understood that, and there was no lawsuit, and I got out of it paying $1 million. Imagine if I had the lease in my name. You should never make the lease in your name. That's a big no-no. None of my students do that, and you shouldn't either. That's a big no-no. So the same goes with this. Please do not buy a building in your name. Do not buy a building in your operating business's name. You should never keep more money than necessary in your operating account. You should have a holding company, transfer the money, the profit in the holding company, because if today in your account is $100,000 and God forbid that something bad happened, a lawsuit and everything, you can this money you cannot take it. If something happens, you're responsible for this money. If you take it, it can be considered bad by the judge, that you try to avoid paying the lawsuit and stuff like that. But if you take this money before and put it in a holding company that you can be the owner, but it's a different company, then if this company loses a lawsuit or something happens, nobody can touch the money in the holding company. So this is one mistake that real estate agents do without knowing the whole concept, without knowing the system. They just learn that theoretically it's good for you to own the building, and they recommend that to manual osteopaths and other health practitioners, but you can do it in a different way. The second thing that I want to speak with you, this is not about investment. Okay, investment wise, real estate agents recommend to you, when you buy a house for yourself to live in, they always say buy the smallest house that you can afford in a good neighborhood, that instead of buying a bigger house in a not a good neighborhood. This investment makes sense because a house, a land in a good area appreciates more, the price goes more. In not such a good area, it doesn't go up the price of the house as much. So if you have a choice, investment wise, it is better to buy a small house in a good neighborhood than a big house in a not so good neighborhood. But we are human beings. Happiness is very important to us. Stress is now known that can lower your immune system, can cause chronic inflammation in your body, and can cause cancer and so many. Well, sorry. Whoa! I don't know if you heard that. Fish this size jumped out of the air. My God, Nepal is so beautiful. Another one. Another one. Wow. Amazing. Nepal is the #1 most beautiful town in United States. If you can come here, open a manual osteopathic clinic. More millionaires here than any other city I've seen. Most of them seniors, and you can make easily $200 to $300 an hour. It was beautiful. I love Naples. And God, thank you. I can see this beauty. From sleeping in shelters and being homeless, now I can enjoy all this beauty. God is great. I'm blessed. God is great. So, if you have investment-wise, buying a small home in a good neighborhood better than buying a big home in a not so desirable neighborhood. But research has shown that people who live in the smaller home in a good neighborhood, they are not happy. People who live in bigger home in a not so good neighborhood, they are a lot happier. The ones who live in a small neighborhood, every time they drive and they go to home, they see the other bigger homes, and they feel jealousy, they feel resentment, and this causes stress in them. Imagine living for 10 years, 20 years in a house that every day that you go, you see the neighbors and they're all wealthier than you, their house is bigger and better, and you feel sad and upset that you're living in a smaller home. The effect that it has on you is detrimental to your health, and it's not good for you. You should not do that, even though investment-wise is a better choice, and you should do that if you're not planning to live in that house. If you're buying this house just for the sake of investment, do that. Buy a smaller house in a good neighborhood instead of buying a bigger house in not such a good neighborhood. But if you plan to live in it, do not do so, because you can get sick. Stress can kill you. Stress can make you sick. So while money-wise, real estate agents are correct, but please do not do so. You will have a miserable life in that home. While research shows those who have the biggest house in the neighborhood, every time they go home, they're happy. They look at the neighbor's home, they feel happy. They're the top dog in the neighborhood, and they have the biggest house. It makes them happy. They feel good about that, and it gives them satisfaction. It lowers their stress level. They become happier. They live longer. So even though money does buy happiness, and I will speak about that in another video, research shown that in this case, if you buy a smaller home in a good neighborhood, money will cause stress for you. So please do not do so. This is one of those things. One of the times that I go against investment, against making more money. I love money. I love wealth. I don't want to be homeless anymore, and I like wealth. I take care of more than 40 families back home. I give to charities. I take care of many people, and I love this financial freedom that it gives me. But I do not choose money over health. And the price of that increase in your real estate worth, in your worth of your home, is not enough to justify the loss of health that you benefit from stress, having stress every day. So please, in this case, do not listen to your real estate agent, even though they are correct technically and theoretically, but they have no streetwise credential. They are not streetwise in that sense. They purely look at the numbers, the same as accountants, which I give you. They purely look at numbers and they think sole proprietorship is better than business corporation, which is wrong. But because you don't live in a numbered world just to look at number, there are other things you have to consider as well. So use your brain, think laterally, think differently. Don't just think by the book. Not everything is black and white. You live in a world of gray, and you have to be creative. You have to find a way that best suits the real life. You don't live in vacuum, and numbers alone is not always the things that can help you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I pray for you to have a happy, healthy, wealthy day, and thanks for watching this video. I love you all. God bless. Namaste.